Every day, strikes make headlines. So it's a double irony when the strike is aimed at a national newspaper. By the time this long and bitter strike by a small group of workers was over, it had become possible the paper would die. Was the unofficial strike justified? And could it have lasted so long without the intervention of such semi-professional agitators as Maoist student Donald Dowd? Defence counsel Charles Lotterby will say that this is what the trial is really about, that a man is being victimised, prosecuted only because the authorities are sick and tired of him. Yet Dowd is not charged under the Industrial Relations Act. Following an incident, a dozen men were charged with intimidation and illegal picketing, and they've already been tried in a magistrate's court. More than half were acquitted. Only Dowd has elected to have a jury trial before Mr. Justice Campbell, under a little-known legal right, as Crown Counsel Andrew Logan QC explains.
And the prosecution will show that this small group of men, unofficial strikers, took it upon themselves to prevent delivery of newspapers to wholesalers, at first by means of legitimate persuasion. But one morning, a driver would not turn back. Men lay in front of his van. Abuse was shouted until some men, Dowd amongst them you will hear, climbed upon the van, broke its windscreen, and tried to break open its doors. Only then did the police act to arrest those pickets involved. It is usual for cases of this sort to be heard in a magistrate's court, and all the others accused have so been tried. Dowd alone has taken the almost unprecedented course under Section 9 of the 1875 Conspiracy and Protection of Property Act of having his case heard here in a Crown court before judge and jury. He has this right, and no doubt his reasons. I call first the van driver, Arthur Raymond Barrett.
Yes, that's him.
And you're certain that the accused, Dowd, was amongst those men who climbed onto your van?
I'm certain.
Now, will you describe in detail, Mr. Barrett, what happened from the moment that you drove towards the pickets?
Well, they all moved out across the road. They sort of spread out like in front of me to try and stop me. They were gesturing for me to wind the window down so that they could talk to me. Obviously, you can't hear much with the window up. But I didn't. I just very slowly kept creeping forward, not stopping, in first gear so they could all get out of the way.
And did your van touch any of the men as you were edging forward like
that?
No,
they touched the van. They sort of pushed on the front, you know, to try and stop it. But obviously you can't do that. So, a couple of the men ran on ahead and just lay down in the road. Well, they just lay there, so of course I had to stop. Couldn't very well run over them, could I?
And then?
Then they all came clustering round. They were banging on the roof, banging on the windows. Some of them climbed up on the van and tried to force open the doors, but I'd locked them.
Did Dowd play any part in this?
Him? Yeah, he did the lot he did. He climbed up and banged, started shouting, tried to bust open the lock, and then someone smashed the windscreen.
Was that Dowd?
I didn't see, probably.
My lord.
Well, he was egging them on, anyway.
But how was he egging them on, Mr. Barrett?
Well, you know, gestures and waving. Because he was the first one to climb up, and he told the three men to go and lie in the road. Then all hell breaks loose. He starts shouting out, "Nobody gets through, lads," he shouted to the men. "And back up, you black-leg bastard," to me. "Go on, get out of it, you blackleg. Who's paying you? Which of the fat cat bosses paid you to strike break? Call yourself a worker?" Things like that.
And do you call yourself a worker, Mr. Barrett?
I am a working man, yes.
Are you a trade unionist?
I am, and in very good standing, and I have been for the past 15 years.
Why weren't you on strike with the others, then?
Well, it was unofficial, wasn't it? This was not an official strike. They had no right in striking.
It was an unofficial strike, then,
yes, it was, and it very nearly finished the paper and all. Talk about cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Without any union support or authority
Absolutely
whatsoever?
right. The union were not behind this. And in my opinion, there's too much of that sort of thing.
Mr. Barrett, you knew that the newspaper had ceased publication during this unofficial strike, did you?
I knew, yes.
So that even had a van got through on some earlier day, there would have been no newspapers to carry away and distribute?
No.
And how was it that you came to drive your van there on this particular day, then?
Well, I was sent.
Yes, of course.
Yes, but anyway, the paper had started printing again. They'd started printing a few because the strike was almost over. As a matter of fact, it would have been over weeks before if it hadn't been for people like him.
What do you mean the strike was almost over?
Well, it was. It was almost over. They'd lost. Most of the men were for going back to work. As a matter of fact, everybody was back the very next day.
So that in no way at all were you any kind of blackleg?
Well, how could I have been? The strike was not official.
And when your van was being attacked, Mr. Barrett, what did you feel?
Oh, I felt bloody scared. Oh, excuse me.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett.
You are certain that Mr. Dowd was amongst the men who climbed on your van?
I am?
You recognize him?
Yes.
You recognize him when you first saw him amongst the pickets?
Well, how could I have done? Never set eyes on him before.
You work for a newspaper?
Yes.
You read newspapers?
Yes.
You watch television?
Yeah.
Yet the face of a man who's become a national figure thanks to the press and television companies was completely unknown to you?
Well,
Yes?
well, I'd heard of him, Dowd, but I didn't know what he looked like.
I suggest that you must have seen him amongst the pickets and instantly known who and what he was.
No.
You will at least admit that you have heard of Mr. Dowd.
Oh, yes. I've heard of him.
Well, you say that as if you don't much care for what you'd heard.
Did I?
Do you?
Do I what?
Do you much care for what you'd heard about him?
Not much, frankly, no.
Dislike him, do you?
I don't know him.
You dislike what you'd heard about him?
Heard. My lord, isn't this hearsay?
We shall not know until we hear it, shall we, Mr. Logan?
No, I can't very much say I liked what I'd heard about him, no.
Why?
Why what?
Why didn't you dislike? Why did you dislike what you'd heard? What had you heard about him?
Well, I'd heard about what he does.
What does he do?
He's a professional, isn't
A
he?
professional what?
Well, I don't know what you call it. You couldn't call it a politician because it doesn't represent anyone. A professional political agitator.
Well, that's a round phrase, Mr. Barrett. I wonder where you heard it.
Oh, didn't hear it anywhere.
Made it up, did you?
I must have done, yes.
Do you read the Daily Mail, Express, Telegraph?
Sometimes.
Not very left-wing papers, are they? Do you know if you read any of these papers on the 13th of November last?
Well, how would I remember?
Well, let me read you a news item. It's from a speech reported in all of them, made by the Tory MP for South Fulchester. Dowd certainly isn't what he claims, a politician. He represents no one in this country anyway. Call him a professional muckraker, an agitator. The British people have had enough of Reds like him. You read that speech, Mr. Barrett?
I don't remember. Probably yes.
Remember it well enough to use it as your own? Would you agree with the sentiments expressed in that speech, Mr. Barrett?
Well, I couldn't very well disagree with an MP now, could I?
You've had enough of Reds like Dowd, have you?
Well,
You're a Tory yourself, aren't you?
Mr. Lotterby, that is not at all a proper or relevant line of questioning.
My lord, I'm trying to show that...
I know what you're trying to show, Mr. Lotterby, and even if you were right, you can only aggravate the matter.
I should be grateful if your lordship would allow me to finish.
Very well, but I have warned you that such questions to this witness are not admissible.
My lord, I'm attempting to show prejudice on the part of this witness and a political bias.
Mr. Lotterby.
My lord, I have no objection to this witness's character and politics being put in evidence. It will let in matters that I shall be glad to have raised. Neither, my lord, as far as I know, is it yet evidence of moral degeneracy to be a Conservative.
I'm very grateful to you for your assistance and for your generosity, Mr. Logan. However, this is not a political trial, and I will not have it made one.
My lord, with respect, it is a political trial in the sense that this witness is motivated by his political views and his dislike of the defendant's political views.
A man stands accused of intimidation under the 1875 Conspiracy and Protection of Property Act, Mr. Lotterby, following a certain incident, no more, no less. Now, members of the jury, in Britain no one can be prosecuted for his political beliefs. However, each man is answerable for his actions. You will therefore put out of your minds all question of politics.
My lord, I concede that nobody should be prosecuted for his politics.
You are being discourteous, Mr. Lotterby.
I'm sorry, my lord, but I contend that this is a patently trumped-up charge
And
brought
you
about...
will have every opportunity of convincing us of that if you can. That is your job. Now, please let us hear you get on with your case, and if you please, no more political palliastrics.
My lord,
Mr. Lotterby?
I don't think the jury may know the meaning of the word palliastrics.
Is that so? Then perhaps you would be good enough to enlighten them for me.
Well, my lord, my Greek is a bit rusty, but competitive gymnastics?
Just so.
Is it gymnastics, my lord, when the defense tries to show that a witness's evidence is prejudiced?
My patience is getting very strained with you, Mr. Lotterby. If there is any prejudice, you have demonstrated it. I have ruled this is not a political trial, and I will not have you introducing political issues. Now get on with your cross-examination, or let us get on with other evidence.
That is your ruling, my lord?
It is.
Mr. Barrett, you still maintain that as you approached the pickets, you did not recognize Donald Dowd?
I did not recognize him.
He said to the three men to go and lie down in the road. He shouted, "Nobody gets through, lads, and back up, you blackleg bastard, back up. Go on, get out of it, you blackleg. Who's paying you? Which of the fat cat bosses paid you to strike break?" Dowd shouted all that, did he?
Yes.
What a lot for you to memorize. Did you have a tape recorder in your van?
Well, I wouldn't swear to every word, but it was near enough word for word.
Really? And you also said in your evidence in chief, they were gesturing for me to wind down the window, to talk to me. You can't hear much with the window up. Did you wind down your window?
No.
No? Then how did you manage to hear and to memorize so many words?
Well, the windscreen was broken by then.
So the windscreen was already broken when Mr. Dowd told the men to lie down in the road?
No, not by then, no.
How can you have heard what he is supposed to have said then?
All right, I didn't hear the words, but that's what he was telling them, wasn't it? After all, that's what they went and did, didn't they?
So you didn't hear any words at all? Mr. Barrett, are you normally a delivery van driver?
Well, I work out at the transport pool, and I'm in the union.
But isn't your usual job as chauffeur to the deputy chairman?
Yes, sometimes, but...
But on this occasion you agreed to go and drive a delivery van.
Yes.
So for all your indignation, you really were no better than a blackleg, a strike breaker.
No.
Do you know how many policemen were present and how many pickets on that day?
Well, I didn't count them, but...
As many as 14 policemen to watch over less than 24 picketers.
Well, yes, it could have been.
Even more police than on previous days. Mr. Barrett, do you have a lot of respect for law and order, the police force?
Well, I think they do a difficult job, yes.
Are you a betting man?
Betting? No.
I never have a flutter on the Derby or the National.
Oh, that, yes, sometimes.
Would you back 14 trained alert policemen against less than 24 ordinary working men?
Yes, but they weren't all ordinary working men, were
But
they?
how can you have been scared? And if they weren't all ordinary working men, who else was there?
Well, he's no ordinary working man, for a start.
No? What would you call him?
Mr. Lotterby,
My lord.
I only want to remind you again, take care with the drift of your cross-examination.
Is there some reason, my lord, why I shouldn't ask this question?
No.
Oh, really, my lord, I must confess I'm beginning to find it most difficult to conduct the defence with all these restrictions. I may not raise the fundamental issue of politics nor of prejudice. Now, I'm not allowed to cross-examine a witness according to ordinary rules without a caution. I only hope the jury will be able to draw their own unbiased conclusions. May I continue, my lord?
I'm sure the jury will make all due allowance for histrionics, and the fact that your strength of feeling in this case must explain if it doesn't excuse your conduct. I'd be very grateful if you would continue with my warning in mind.
Mr. Barrett, if he's not an ordinary working man, what is he?
Well, he's no more an ordinary working man than you are.
What is he?
There's another one of them, isn't he?
What?
Well, I don't know what you call it, a student.
Isn't he?
Well, he doesn't seem to do much studying, does he?
What is he?
Well, he's a bloody commie, if you ask me, with orders from Moscow or Peking or something to come down here and stir up as much trouble as he can. And I'll tell you something else, I know what I'd like to do with...
Another of them, you said? Do you include me too?
No.
And anyone who doesn't share your views, he's a commie, is that it? And you know what to do with them, eh? You couldn't have known Dowd out of 35 people, couldn't have known he was one of the crowd milling around your van, couldn't have heard him through your closed window, could you? In fact, because of your prejudice, you came here and lied. Lied deliberately,
No,
didn't you?
I did not.
You lied,
Well, I don't care what you say. It was him. Dowd climbed all over my van. Dowd tried to open that door and get at me. Him. Dowd.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Police Sergeant John Kershaw, D Division, Fulchester Police.
Sergeant Kershaw, where were you on duty on the 11th of March of this year?
Outside the premises of 19 Northside Road, sir.
And are these the distribution offices of a national newspaper?
Yes, they are, sir.
Why were you on duty?
In connection with the strike there, sir, and to prevent any breach of the peace.
Yes. Now, Sergeant, will you tell us what happened when a delivery van, number RMB 360J, appeared in front of the pickets?
We'd been advised, sir, that an attempt would be made to get a van into the buildings. Consequently, I was on duty there with 13 other police officers, sir.
And what orders had you received?
No more than to keep our heads, keep tempers from flaring and prevent any violence, sir.
Just keep cool and lower the temperature, in fact.
Yes, sir.
Which, during this lengthy and often highly emotional strike, you had admirably succeeded in doing up until this point.
And we succeeded then, sir. Nobody was hurt, and next day it was all over.
Indeed, yes. Dowd was arrested, and the next day it was all over.
That is a very improper remark, Mr. Logan. Members of the jury, you will disregard it. It has not been shown, indeed I doubt that it could be shown, that the strike ended then just because the accused had been arrested.
My lord. Sergeant Kershaw, the van had just arrived.
Yes, sir. When the men saw it, they spread out across the roadway. The van, however, it did not stop. It came on through the men, sir.
Or pushing them aside.
Oh, slowly enough to give anybody a chance to get out of the way, sir.
This was a standard newspaper delivery van, was it?
It was, my lord.
And they have large, reinforced, blunt bumpers.
They do, my lord. I have a photograph of your lordship.
Yes,
if
I
you'd like to
think
see.
we're all very familiar with it, Mr. Logan. They are vividly in my mind since I once collided with one in my motor car and came off second best.
Well, what must have been one of the few times in your life, my lord?
We shall see, Mr. Lotterby. Go on, please, Mr. Logan.
My lord. Thank you, Sergeant.
When the men realised that the van wasn't going to stop, sir, the driver wasn't going to stop and talk to them, 3 of the men ran a few yards up the road and lay down. Well, the van couldn't run over them, sir. It was forced to stop.
But did these men run ahead on anybody's instructions?
Well, I wasn't near enough at the moment to hear, sir. The accused did speak to them, but so did other men.
And when the van was stopped?
The pickets got very angry, sir, because they'd seen the van wasn't going to stop. There was a lot of shouting, and then a few of the men rushed forward and started...
Who was at the front of the rush?
Well, I couldn't say for sure, sir. As I say, there was a lot of shouting. You couldn't just pick one man's voice out. The men seemed to rush forward together, sir. I'd say it was spontaneous.
Mm-hmm. And then?
And then they started thumping on the roof and the sides of the van, sir. They were yelling and forcing the door handles. Next thing, there was a sound of windscreen glass.
A distinctive sound.
Oh, yes, sir. When it became obvious that there was some violent behaviour, I led the rest of the police officers towards the Bennett to run, sir. There were a few scuffles, a little resistance, and some bad language, sir. And it became necessary to arrest a dozen men.
Amongst whom was the accused Dowd?
Yes, sir. I arrested Donald McAlpine Dowd myself, sir. He was taken down to the station with the others and formally charged.
Yes, where was the accused at the time when you arrested him?
He was half on and half off the van, sir.
You had seen him climbing on the van, then?
Yes, he was with the others, sir.
And when you arrested and cautioned Dowd, Sergeant, did he say anything?
Yes, sir. He said, "You fascist pig, why did you pull me off?"
You fascist pig, why did you pull me off?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Sergeant.
That, in police jargon, is called a verbal, is it not?
Yes, sir.
When an old hag says, "It's a fair cop, officer, you caught me red-handed," that's a verbal too, isn't it?
It could be, sir.
Or, "How did you know the brick was in my pocket, officer?"
Yes, sir.
Verbals are often very useful in securing a conviction, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
So useful that it is not unknown for a police officer to have invented them and put them into the mouth of someone he wants to convict.
I do not know of any such case, sir.
Really? Oh, the papers have reported instances. Do you never read newspapers either?
I do not know of any such case from my personal experience as a police officer, sir.
No? You did know the accused from before this case, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
You have a wide experience of matters of this kind, political matters.
Some experience, sir.
So you would have had your eye on Dowd from the first moment he appeared among the pickets.
I recognised him, sir.
Oh, that's not what I asked you, is it? And you must have read a fair bit about Dowd, his beliefs and activities, have you?
I've read about him, sir, yes.
Did you see him on television on the Michael Parkinson show, arguing with the ex-Home Secretary?
Yes, sir.
Do you think he made a case for his views?
No, sir.
No? Many people did. Why not you?
He talks more than he listens, sir, and that's not the way to learn.
Then I suppose the same might have been said about Winston Churchill.
I wouldn't know, sir.
Is it all right to talk, is it, when the views expressed are the same as yours?
If I can properly give my opinion, sir, I think and I believe that more people are happy in a country where they respect law and the people in authority than any other place where they're always complaining and arguing.
And striking?
Sometimes, sir.
You don't believe in strikes, then?
Not always, sir, no. Most strikes are not necessary.
Was this strike necessary?
I didn't form an opinion, sir. I was on duty, and part of that duty is to remain impartial.
Oh, rubbish, officer. You expect us to believe that you're such a high and idealistic person that you can keep your ideas and beliefs entirely separate from your work?
I try, sir.
What are your views?
I'm sorry, Mr. Lotterby, I've been restraining myself from stopping you again, but you are once more approaching the area of politics, and I cannot allow it.
I am sorry, my lord. Sergeant, are you a married man?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any children?
2, sir. 2 boys.
You love your wife, do you?
Yes, sir.
Would you say you are a religious man?
Religious? Not very, no, sir.
But a Christian?
Yes, sir.
Yes. What is it, Mr. Lotterby? What's the matter?
Oh, I was waiting for you to stop me again, my lord. Here I am being allowed to cross-examine a witness on life and love and sex and family and even religion, but not on the one fundamental and important issue to this case, politics.
Get on, get on, get on.
I can, only with difficulty, my lord. Sergeant, I put it to you that the defendant did indeed call you a fascist and a pig, but that he at no time said, "Why did you pull me off?"
No, sir.
And I suggest that, in fact, the defendant was at that time nowhere near the van.
Yes, he was, sir. He was half on the van when I arrested him.
You've told us you have experience of strike duty.
Some experience, yes, sir.
Do you know what I mean by a stiffener?
Yes, sir. When an important strike is coming to an end, the professionals move in to keep it going.
The stiffeners, the men who come with the intention of prolonging a strike, of rekindling waning enthusiasm for a strike, and perhaps of preventing a settlement.
Yes, sir. And get publicity for themselves.
Would I be right in saying that you have no sympathy for stiffeners, men who prolong strikes?
I haven't thought about it, sir.
Do you really mean that?
Yes, sir.
Was Dowd amongst the pickets at the beginning of the strike?
No, sir. He just appeared the last few days of it.
And we've heard it suggested that the strike was nearly over, that support for the strike and the pickets was waning.
That's so, yes, sir.
And we know that this was an important strike. It forced the national newspaper to a standstill.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that Dowd was a stiffener, Sergeant?
As a matter of fact, yes, I did, sir.
Why, just because he turned up at the end of that strike?
No, sir. In the same way that he was always present at the end of other strikes where I was on duty, sir. There was the Partridge Engineering Works and the Station Motor Bodies Company, sir. Do you want the times and the dates?
No, thank you, Sergeant. It won't be necessary.
In fact, because you regarded him as a stiffener, you set out to get Dowd on some charge or another, any charge, didn't you?
No, sir.
And you've come here today with your story all worked out, all well-rehearsed, all fair-seeming, but really trying to make it stick, haven't you?
I don't know what that means, sir.
Don't you? I'm saying that you are here in this court for no other purpose, under no other orders, than to get a conviction against Dowd. In other words, that you are deliberately committing perjury with your lies.
Mr. Lotterby, have you forgotten the implications of that accusation?
My lord, I have not forgotten.
Then I think I will adjourn for today, and I think you would do well to consider most carefully whether you really want to put this witness' character in issue by pursuing this particular line of cross-examination. I will rise now.
All stand.
The case of the Queen against Dowd will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. A long and bitter strike by a small group of workers in one department paralyzed a national newspaper and may even have killed it. This ended only after the arrest of a dozen of the pickets. All but one of these men has already been tried for illegal picketing and intimidation at the magistrates' court. Only one, Maoist student and political activist Donald Dowd, has insisted upon his legal right to a jury trial. In the first day of the trial, yesterday, feelings ran high. There were angry clashes between Mr. Justice Campbell and Defence Counsel Charles Lotterby, when the judge ruled that this was not a political trial and refused Lotterby leave to introduce political questions, though he claimed these are what this whole case is about, that Dowd is only charged because the authorities want a conviction against him as a troublemaker. For the Crown, Andrew Logan, QC, has tried to show that Dowd not only took part in the events, but was also a ringleader. Then, when Lotterby was cross-examining the arresting police officer Kershaw and flung out the accusation that all of his evidence was deliberate perjury, the judge adjourned to let defense counsel reconsider that charge.
Mr. Lotterby, yesterday you accused the Crown witness, Police Sergeant Kershaw, of perjury, thus bringing his character into question. When I adjourned, I suggested that you use the time to consider whether this was the line of cross-examination that you really wanted to pursue. What have you decided?
My lord, I am bound to pursue it. It is implicit in the defense case that Mr. Dowd was prosecuted for reasons other than his actions at the strike, and that the prosecution evidence is a fabrication, and that consequently the Crown witnesses must be lying.
That both the van driver and the police officer were premeditatedly lying on oath.
Yes, my lord.
I see. Mr. Lotterby, are you sure you would not like to reconsider?
Look, what is this? Reconsider? Of course he's lying in his teeth. Be damned if I will.
Be silent, Dowd. You are on trial for a serious offence in a court of law. You are ably represented by an experienced counsel. Do not try to do his job for him.
Oh, you are? What is this? Footsie?
Will you
Be damned if we take it back.
Be silent. You will have an opportunity to speak if you go into the witness box, but you will be silent until then. And I warn you that any more disturbances of this kind from you, and you may be found guilty of contempt of court.
And maybe I'm guilty of that.
I have warned you for the last time. Mr. Lotterby, would you continue?
My lord. Sergeant, I'm going to ask you to stretch your imagination a little bit. Now, if you were to be given firm orders from a lawfully appointed senior officer, what orders would you feel bound to disobey?
Well, if it was against the law, sir.
What about if the order was against your personal conscience?
If it was a lawful order, sir.
So you would obey almost any order given you by a senior officer?
That's my duty, sir.
So even against your conscience, you would have obeyed an order to arrest Donald Dowd, wouldn't you?
Well, that depends.
In fact, you did obey just such an order, didn't you? You were ordered to break this strike, to go and arrest Dowd on any pretext, arrest him and get him out of the way.
No, I wasn't.
But you would have to say that under orders, wouldn't you? No further questions.
Sergeant Kershaw, were you ordered to come here and commit perjury under oath?
No, sir.
And even if it was even remotely possible that you had received such an order, would you have obeyed it?
I don't think so, no, sir.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you, Sergeant. You may step down.
Well, that is the case for the prosecution, my lord.
I call Dr. Germaine Elwes.
Yes, I am Donald MacDowd's university tutor.
What is known as his model tutor?
No. My particular university has not felt that anyone has the right to oversee morals. I am his overall academic tutor.
That is to say, he would also take classes from other teachers and tutors.
Of course, yes.
How long have you known Dowd?
Oh, about 4 years.
In your opinion, what sort of student is he?
Outstanding.
He's an outstanding student, one who very much benefits from his university career.
I should say so.
Is your experience of him that he is a truthful man?
Yes.
Invariably truthful?
Well, nobody is invariably anything. He's a human being, not a machine.
Now, would you find it conceivable that he could stand here in court on oath and lie to us?
Not about this, no. If you put him on oath and ask him, he'll tell you the truth.
Thank you, Doctor.
Dr. Elwes, may I ask you an impertinent question?
You ask rhetorical ones.
Well, I've always wanted to know... Oh, perhaps I should ask you first, are you an atheist?
Yes.
You are an atheist. You believe in no God, no power larger than man, nothing to exercise any control over you.
Yes, I am an atheist. No, I believe in no God.
But if that is so, how can you swear an oath?
Well, just as you can. No God appears to strike you down if you tell a lie. I tell the truth because it's better for my self-respect and clarity.
Yes, that's not quite what I meant. I meant that when you swore an oath to tell the truth here today, you swore by Almighty God, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Well, isn't that a dishonest and hypocritical thing to do when you now confess to no belief in God at all?
Well, it was stupid, perhaps. They asked my religion, and I automatically replied C of E. I was brought up as that. My oath is no less binding for it. I'm a don't know rather than an atheist, if that makes you feel better.
I'm not sure that it does. Dr. Elwes, have you at any time received letters from any of Dowd's other teachers complaining to you about his unsatisfactory attendance record as a student?
You must understand that detailed records are not kept for the most part. A university is not a school to mark registers, present or absent.
That is not an answer.
In the past, I have had a couple of letters, yes.
Letters from several of his teachers complaining about Dowd's unsatisfactory and infrequent attendances at their lectures.
Yes, but...
Neither is this the only reason you have had for looking into his attendance record, is it?
Look, I'll say to you what I say to them. Attendance is no criterion of academic ability. A bright scholar may get more from books than from lectures. The only thing that matters is his academic record, whether or not he passes his exams.
But he isn't passing his exams either, is he? Hasn't Mr. Dowd already taken 6 years over a 4-year course?
Well, he failed 1 year and had to take the year over again. He changed courses and lost another year, but...
But he has taken 6 years already over a 4-year course.
Yes.
And what was the other reason you had for looking into his attendance record?
Well, at one time, a year or so ago, at the height of all this silly publicity that the press has inflicted upon him, there was a move by his local education authority to stop his grant.
They wanted to stop it because he wasn't working as a student.
Because he was politically active.
Ah, now that is your opinion, but not their reason, was it?
No.
In fact, however much you would like to defend him, you cannot deny that he is not a very satisfactory or hard-working student, can you?
He's a very clever and responsive student.
Yes, but that once again was not my question, Dr. Elwes. Tell me, is it not a fact that the university used to keep very much fuller student records than it now does?
Yes.
Now records are kept only concerning each student's academic ability.
Yes.
What brought about this change?
A protest by the students, which, in my opinion...
Yes, a whole series of protests and demands to have access to their own records, was it not?
Yes.
Protests and demands led by Donald Dowd.
Led by? What does that mean? You'd have to define the term.
This is not an academic discussion, Dr. Elwes. Led by is perfectly clear. Was Dowd not a prime mover in the demands to have access to student records?
I suppose he was, yes.
And as a result of those demands, the university is now forced to keep much less complete student records.
Perfectly adequate records, nevertheless. All that is required...
Also, was Dowd not a ringleader at yet another student protest, this time concerning schedules and conditions? Do I need to define ringleader for you?
No, thank you. Yes, I understand that he took part in that protest.
More than that?
Perhaps.
So if I may recapitulate, Dr. Elwes, Dowd attends his lectures infrequently, is such an unsatisfactory student that teachers and education authorities have complained about him, spends much of his time organizing protests and demonstrations instead of studying, has already taken 6 years over a 4-year course and still not graduated, all this quite apart from his many other activities. Now, if we may agree not to argue semantics and definitions, Doctor, can you deny that that is an adequate resume of the facts you have given us?
Overstatement. Overstatement, suggestion, and insinuation. Let me give you some idea of the background.
Don't bother. Thank you very much, Dr. Germain Elwes.
We would, of course, agree, Doctor, that academic is not a dirty word, and that without people whose job it is to learn and to think, there could be neither culture nor civilization for the rest of us to enjoy.
Yes.
An academic's job is to think, isn't it?
It is.
And this is the important thing, to think and question. Even if that leads to conclusions and actions with which the rest of us might not agree.
Yes, very much so.
And what did you answer to the teachers and the education authority when they came to you complaining of Dowd cutting classes?
Yes, it was irrelevant to his academic progress. Also, I told his teachers they might try to make their lectures rather more interesting.
Yes. Does it really matter if a student takes 6 or more years to graduate?
No. It's not a race. It's how far one goes, not how fast.
And in your opinion, Mr. Dowd may go far?
Well, he already has.
In which way?
He's already active in the world. He's not a dropout, is he? He achieves. He has a good instinct for humbug and a dislike of hypocrisy. Many of his opinions are original to him, and some of them have given me food for thought. And if any of that sounds dry and academic, it's my fault. He is not.
Thank you, Dr. Elwes. Now, student records.
Yes.
If the business of a university is only to train and educate students, does it have need of records which are anything other than those of academic progress?
I should say it does not.
So nothing is lost?
Nothing. Records of a student's political views, for example, are wholly unnecessary.
Yes, Doctor. Well, I might agree with you there wholeheartedly, but we must be very careful. We mustn't talk about politics here. It's been forbidden.
By whom?
The
The
court.
case is political.
The court has forbidden it.
Oh. Well, that was to be expected.
You think perhaps this prosecution was brought only because the powers that be intended to make an example of Donald Dowd?
Mr. Lotterby, you are doing it again.
Doing what, my lord?
You know what perfectly well. The witness will not answer that question. This is not, and I repeat, it will not be turned into a political trial.
My lord, I can only accept your ruling, but I should be grateful for clarification of one small point.
Yes, I'm sure I shall regret asking, but what is it?
If by its very nature this already is a political trial, how does any ruling make it not political? Your lordship cannot point at white and rule that it is black.
You are trying to play legal games with me, Mr. Lotterby, as you know very well, in order to score points and make it appear that matters are being kept from the public and the jury. I will say again, and for the last time, that under British rule, no man can be prosecuted for his political beliefs. The accused is not being prosecuted for his. He stands accused of taking part in an illegal action.
Yes, my lord, he stands accused for his part in an illegal action, and his case is that he had no part in it.
Get on with your job, Mr. Lotterby.
Well, my lord, I can only accept your ruling.
We are all deeply grateful to you for that.
You scratch my back and I'll scratch yours.
Dr. Elwes, the two protests in which Mr. Dowd took part, were they both, in your opinion, over justifiable issues?
Yes, they were.
So one could not call him a troublemaker.
I don't know. Sometimes somebody needs to make trouble.
Or not an unreasonable troublemaker,
No.
but an outstanding student of whom you, as his tutor, have a high regard.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Elwes. Thank you very much. McAlpine Dowd,
I am.
a student,
Yes.
and your address, Mr. Dowd.
I don't have one at the moment.
Of no fixed abode.
I'm in the process of moving, staying with friends while my new place is being fixed up. Would you like the new address?
Yes, please.
17 Prince Consort Road, Fulchester, NL2 4JU.
You chose to affirm rather than to take the oath, Mr. Dowd. Are you an atheist?
No, I'm not.
You're not.
Well, only God knows enough to be an atheist, and I doubt if he'd want to be. I'm an agnostic, I don't know.
But you do realize that you are as bound as is any deeply religious man on oath to tell us the truth.
Yes.
Could one say that your whole life, in fact, has been spent in a search for the truth?
Not really. It's just that I'm such a lousy liar.
If you're a lousy liar, then you're a truthful man.
I try hard to be.
Tell us the truth about the events which led to your arrest on this charge. Now, why were you there at the strike at all?
It was a good strike. A justified strike about legitimate grievances. I was there to lend my support, that's all.
To lend a bit of muscle, if need be?
No, moral support.
Did it concern you at all that this newspaper, this strike, brought this newspaper to a standstill?
Oh, yes, of course.
And
Bosses and shareholders are people, too.
And yet you supported it?
Yes.
Why?
A man does a job of work for certain wages and under certain conditions. Now, if he doesn't like those conditions, he's got to have the right to withdraw his labour. That's what the right to strike is all about. Well, no boss ever gave his workers a raise just because he liked their happy, smiling faces. He'd have to be made to.
A fair share of the cake for all.
Well, a custard pie for a boss or two.
Mr. Lotterby, for the sake of your client, not to mention comprehensibility for the rest of us, do you think it is wise to conduct your examination on this level of irreverence?
My lord. Mr. Dowd, what happened when the van approached the pickets?
Well, we waited for the 7th Cavalry, but they didn't come,
The
so...
7th Cavalry.
I believe it is a jocular reference, my lord, to a dramatic situation in some film entertainment.
It has no relevance to this case.
A humorous illustration, my lord.
I see.
So, without the assistance of the 7th Cavalry...
So we had to do something for ourselves. We spread ourselves across the road to block the road. All we wanted to do was to stop the van, to talk to the driver and persuade him to turn back.
You've done this successfully before.
Oh, yes. Only this gentleman didn't stop. He just drove right at us, just pushed us out of the way with his large, reinforced, blunt bumpers. They hurt, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And not only Judge's Rolls Royces. Anyway, a couple of the lads, 3 to be exact, ran ahead up the road. They lay down in front of the van. Well, that stopped him. Even Barrett wouldn't run over men. At least, not while anyone was watching.
Was lying in the road your suggestion?
Very probably. It's an old tactic. Any picket worth his banner would know it. What does it matter? He'd hurt some of the lads, and they weren't happy about that.
Understandably, perhaps.
Right, so they ran over to the van, they jumped on it and banged on it, they yelled in at him, and then somebody, unintentionally, I think, bust the windscreen, leaning on it, put their elbow through it. The so-called intimidation didn't really amount to much.
What part did you play in all this?
No part at all. I weren't anywhere near the van.
Where were you?
Well, we had a cine camera down there. So when the men moved towards the van and the police started to move in, well, I sprinted off to get the camera.
And did you get the camera?
No, before I could, the police sergeant arrested me.
Had you planned to attack the van and the driver?
No, to stop it, that's all.
So you were surprised by the violent things that began to happen?
Well, it weren't planned.
Did you say all the things that the driver claims you said?
No. I didn't think he could hear me. So I tried to open the door so I could talk to him.
This was before any move was made against the van?
Yes.
But you did try to force open the door?
Force it? No.
Then...
Well, I said I tried it. Well, it was locked. You can't force a locked door with your bare hands. All I wanted was to talk to him. That's what the police hopefully call intimidation. Well, there was the open windscreen. Anybody could have leant through that and clobbered him. I didn't, nor did anyone else.
Neither you nor anybody else tried to open the door with anything other than your bare hands?
No, not while I was watching. Not even your friendly neighborhood bobbies claim otherwise.
Did you climb onto the van yourself?
No.
At no time?
No, I was going to get the camera.
You didn't climb onto the bonnet and talk through the windscreen?
No, all I did was to try the door.
When you were arrested, did you say to the policeman, "You fascist pig, why did you pull me off?"
No, is it likely?
Did you say anything?
Yes, I did.
What?
Well, as near as I can remember, and it's near enough, I said, "You're the kind of copper gets called a fascist pig, mate. Now, what are you trying to pull? This is a legal picket, so push off and leave me alone."
Would you explain to the jury what you mean by what are you trying to pull?
Well, it means... Well, they know what it means.
In case they don't.
It means somebody's trying to put one over on you. Blame you for something you didn't do.
And you hadn't done anything to warrant arrest?
Nope.
And you say, do you, that you were arrested only because someone thought it would be a good idea to arrest you, but not for anything that you had done?
Of course. Well, you know it, and I know it. I reckon he knows it and all. But we've got to go through the whole farce, haven't we?
Mr. Dowd, I must ask you not to be disrespectful to the court.
Well, I don't feel too respectful, being asked to climb down over that copper.
Please confine yourself to
As I say,
answering
I
my
don't feel
question.
too respectful.
Be that as it may, Dowd, you do not help yourself with this attitude.
It's the generation gap, my
That
lord.
is another example. You behave as if this was a casual matter. It is not. This is a serious charge you face, and I must remind you that the consequences may be very serious for yourself. Now behave yourself.
Right. Only if I don't play your game because I don't believe in your game, what will you do about it?
I can make you behave yourself, and I shall. Mr. Lotterby,
How?
are you trying to provoke me?
No, I really want to know.
Do you want to go to prison?
Oh, that's it. But they have to find me guilty first, surely.
No doubt. I, without reference to the jury, can find you guilty of contempt of court.
I said disrespect, not contempt.
Perhaps you think it'll help towards publicity for your cause to go to prison for a few days. Well, let me tell you that a lot more is involved than that. If I find you guilty of contempt, that is certainly where you will go, but not for a few days, but until, in my opinion, you have purged your contempt. Now be quiet. and answer only the questions that are put to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Go on, Mr. Lotterby.
Thank you, my lord. Mr. Dowd, do you believe you were arrested only because...
Only because somebody thought it was a good idea to arrest me, not at all for anything I had done. Yes, Mr. Lotterby, we both know that is so.
Members of the jury, you must put both that question and its answer out of your minds when you come to consider your verdict. I'm being extremely tolerant because, as it may have occurred to you, it is just possible that this unusual young man wishes to be made to look like a martyr, and we must not allow that. We must listen fairly to and weigh his evidence. Now, what the accused believes or thinks he believes is wholly irrelevant. It is a matter of opinion. It has nothing to do with facts. Take no notice of it.
With the greatest respect, my lord, if the accused wished to look like a martyr, he'd try to be found guilty.
I do not intend to enter into debate with you, Mr. Lotterby. Now get on, please.
My lord, I have no further questions for Mr. Dowd. Thank you.
Mr. Dowd, perhaps this is the moment to ask you why you have elected to have a jury trial when you could have finished and done with it by now before the magistrate's court.
Yes, I have a good enough reason.
What is it?
I want to be found what I am, not guilty.
Oh, yes.
Oh, look at me. A long-haired lefty. Imagine what a cluster of Tory magistrates would make of me on a charge like this. They'd be reaching for their black caps before I'd finish saying not guilty. Here, at least, I'm not the only one with funny hair, am I?
Mr. Dowd.
No, if I was to have a chance, I had to be heard before ordinary people like myself. A jury of the people.
Mr. Dowd, are you just after publicity?
Nope.
But it would assist your cause, wouldn't it?
There are times when it helps, yes. But it's beginning to interfere with my work. My political work, that is, if I can use a dirty word.
Oh, yes, I see.
And when the police start busting me practically on sight, well, I don't want any more publicity.
Mr. Dowd, some people might say that this strike was none of your business, had nothing to do with you. An unofficial strike. What would be your answer to that?
Well, I can understand their feelings, but they're not right.
No?
No. Look, Cock, any injustice, any wrong is everybody's business. As for it being unofficial, Jesus, what is official nowadays? You've got to make an application in triplicate to have a strike. The union leaders are as much part of the establishment, some of them, as the Institute of Directors. They call me a communist, a Maoist. I'm left, okay, but I think it's down to us, the workers, to get something done for ourselves and not sit about and wait for kind permission from them to protect ourselves against blackmail.
The case of the Queen against Dowd will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. On previous days of this trial, the Crown has claimed that only swift and firm action by the police prevented violence at the end of a strike at a national newspaper. A dozen men were arrested. Only one has claimed his right to be tried before a Crown Court jury. Donald Dowd, student and something of a public figure, is a self-confessed agitator and political activist. He claims the police have framed him just because he's a troublemaker, but that he was never violent. Prosecuting counsel Andrew Logan, QC, continues to cross-examine Dowd.
You like strikes, do you, Mr. Dowd?
Like? Do you like breathing? They're a fact of life.
Oh, strikes are as commonplace as breathing to you, are they?
I didn't say that.
But you enjoy strikes.
I've enjoyed a couple. Mostly they're just nasty and necessary.
No boss ever gave his workers a raise until he was made to.
Right.
Right, is that all you can say?
Yes.
But the whole hundreds of years old process of democracy, the subtle and complex adjustments of labor management relations, all social relationships, are reduced by you, a supposed intellectual, to nothing but a crude and brutal process of naked power. Well, who's got the biggest stick?
Most of the subtleties are like lawyers' arguments, intended to hide the truth from the public.
And now you descend to abuse again. You enjoy strikes, see them as a necessary display of nasty, naked power and a fact of life, but does it never occur to you that the public may be heartily sick of them, heartily sick of being held to ransom?
You're qualified to speak for the public, are you?
Are you?
Perhaps a little more than you, yes.
Oh. I think it's down to us, the workers, you said. And as you revealed the depths of your class hatred, you tried to ally yourself with a jury to what you patronizingly called ordinary people.
I wasn't patronizing. But let them decide that for themselves.
Oh, they will. I've no doubt about that. But how can a man like you dare to call himself ordinary? You're not remotely ordinary, are you?
Aren't I?
And you're not a worker.
Yes.
You're a student.
I work at that.
Not very well or hard, as we've already heard.
Hard in the time I have available.
In the time left over from all your many anarchic, disruptive, and arrogant political activities.
If that's the way you choose to describe it, that's right.
My lord,
Mr. Lotterby?
I've been listening to this whole cross-examination, paralysed by incredulity. At any moment I told myself his lordship is bound to put a stop to it.
Really? Why?
Because hardly a word of it, my lord, has not dealt with that very area you expressly and many times have forbidden to me. Practically every word has had to do with the defendant's politics.
Much of it has, yes. But I do not understand your objection. You are presumably objecting.
My lord, you ruled that this was not a political trial. How can you now allow counsel for the prosecution to turn it into one?
Mr. Lotterby, you are at liberty to examine the defendant on his political ideas and beliefs.
My lord, you said...
What I said, Mr. Lotterby, was that you could not so question Mr. Logan's witnesses. Their politics do not concern us, but of course Mr. Dowd's do very much.
But the accused's politics,
The
my lord,
accused's politics are the essence of his defence. When he says he only went to the strike to show sympathy for the strikers and not to indulge in physical violence, surely that goes to his credit. Mr. Logan is only doing what you tried to do with each of his witnesses, only now it is admissible.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Logan?
Thank you, my lord.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Mr. Dowd, you've called yourself a long-haired lefty and admitted that you are so potentially offensive to the sight of worthy men that you believed you couldn't have a fair trial from magistrates. But why do you do it? Do you want to be offensive? Does it give you some obscure and perverse pleasure?
My lord, is he allowed to be so rude to me?
Answer, counsel.
All right. No, I don't wish to upset you. I'm sorry if the look of me offends you, but that's the way I am. I look like this. If it offends you, then the prejudice is on your side.
And you're free of prejudice, are you?
I try to be.
But even class prejudice?
No. I plead guilty with justification to that.
What justification?
Well, I don't wish to upset this court again, so let's take private ownership. It's a fact that well over 75% of absolutely everything in this country is owned by just 10% of its people. Now, as a class, I am prejudiced against that 10%. I think we owe it to ourselves and to each other, in fact, to get our hands on a bit more of it for ourselves. Industrial action is just one way.
The strikes are a way of getting your hands on a bit more money, then. But what would happen in a society, Mr. Dowd, where everybody went on strike?
If you're into twisting what I say, that needs two answers.
Well, we shall listen, politely.
Thank you. First of all, it's an everybody question, and they're utterly meaningless. What would happen if everybody wished to be a barrister? Happily, they don't. Not everybody wants the same thing.
Or perhaps not everybody could pass the examinations.
Debatable. Then what would happen if everybody in society did go on strike? Well, society would have to take a hard, long look at itself and come up with ways of making people want to work pretty damn quick.
How? Force them to work? Send them to the salt mines?
I think I said the opposite. We're not to blame if we don't want to work. Society is. It's because the jobs are so badly paid or boring that nobody wants them. The 10% or the lads in the House of Lords, they don't strike, do they? Why would they?
Would you include me in the 10% you dislike?
Oh, yes.
But if I told you that I have no private property, would you still?
Yes.
Why?
Because you're part of it. A lawyer.
Part of what?
Part of the conspiracy to uphold it, to protect it. That is the law's business. The law is about property, not people. 10 or 15 years for murder, but a whole 30 years for stealing money without a license.
But you are charged with an offence against a person, not property.
Am I?
You do dislike law and order, don't you? You say you're neither a Maoist, as the papers have called you without contradiction, nor even a communist. So what are you?
I don't know. Would you want the nearest label?
It might assist the jury to understand you.
Well, then I'm an anarchist.
An anarchist? You are an anarchist?
Oh, no bombs. It's not a dirty word.
Isn't it? You used to be a card-carrying member of the Communist Party, too, didn't you?
Used to be, yes.
What changed your mind?
I was forced to give it more thought.
In other words, perhaps you grew up a bit?
I came to the conclusion that the only good government was a bad one.
I'm sure the jury would be fascinated to hear more about that.
Well, it's really very simple. You see, in both capitalist and Stalinist countries, both governments have need of a bureaucracy. A highly sophisticated, efficient machine of lies, laws, courts, prisons, and mental homes to outlaw the views of any normal men that threaten them. The only difference is that, of course, in communist countries, people do eat where they didn't do so before, but they do call insane any dissenting opinion. Here in this country, we persecute workers and people such as myself on the pretext of defending our so-called democratic system with its so-called free speech and free vote. There are those in high places who would like to see people like myself jailed through political trials such as this. That's why I say that the only good government is an inefficient government.
You've rehearsed that, haven't you? Whatever it may mean, it has a fine ringing sound of propaganda. You used the phrase, a normal man. What is a normal man in your ideology?
Well, I'll quote you better than I can say it. The condition of alienation, of being unconscious, of being out of one's mind, is the condition of the normal man. Society values its normal man. Normal men have killed perhaps over 100 million of their fellow normal men in the last 50 years. Dr. R.D. Lang said that.
Oh, thank you. You do know a bit about psychiatry, then, do you?
Not really.
But enough to know what free association is?
I say a word and you respond.
Well, vice versa. It might assist us in our attempt to understand you if we tried something of the sort. Now, I'll give you a word or an idea, something that the normal man could understand, and you give me your response to it.
Okay.
Mr. Logan, if we're to see Mr. Dowd psychoanalyzed in court, perhaps for the benefit of the jury, you could explain the process a little more clearly.
Well, it's no more complex, my lord, than I've already described. If I might explain by illustration, and you stop me if the jury doesn't understand.
Very well.
You see, they think you're simple. I notice how he got a little bit in about me needing my head.
You are not to address the jury, Dowd.
Excuse me, Lord.
My lord.
Yes?
You address me as my lord, as you well know.
Yes, my lord, and you can call me Mister.
May I continue, my lord?
I think perhaps you had better, Mr. Logan.
By way of illustration, Mr. Dowd, then, may we try capital punishment?
Bring it back for politicians.
Drugs?
100% of all heroin users began on coffee or tea.
Free love?
Never pay for it.
Pornography?
I've never heard anything pornographic.
What, never?
I don't have a pornograph. Boom, boom.
Yes, would you answer a little less flippantly, please?
Yes, if you insist.
Censorship?
Who will be the censors? Does Mrs. Grundy know better than you?
But for children?
I don't have any children.
And no opinion?
Yes, an unpopular one. I don't think the truth harms anyone. A child can only understand as much as it can.
So you'd expose children to anything?
Expose, no. Not hide, yes.
Obscenity, sex and violence?
Oh, sex and violence are not the same thing. It's hard to find sex obscene unless you're dirty-minded and sad. Violence is obscene, but the news from Vietnam regularly followed children's TV programs.
But you'd let small children watch sexual intercourse on the stage or the screen?
You'd let small children watch men being shot or burnt to death.
Now, you're equating sex with violence.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Are you never violent?
Sometimes. Rarely, I'm afraid.
You said, when it gets to the point where the police bust me practically on sight, etc., why should you think the police would want to do that?
Yes, okay.
Okay.
No. Mr. Logan.
That's all right, I'll answer.
You are not bound to answer that, Dowd, and I should advise you not to.
My lord, are you going to stop me?
I should not dream of it. But you must consider the implications of any answer explaining why you think the police would want to arrest you on sight. My advice is not to answer it, but if you persist, I shall certainly not try to prevent you.
Thank you, I'll answer. You see, there's a thing in law called letting in evidence.
Mr. Dowd,
No,
please,
you'll get your answer, but my way. You see, I wondered last night why my counsel were asked to step down over accusing that copper of lying. So I discussed it with him. It seems that if he attacked the officer's character, this fella could have a go at mine. You see, the thing that nobody wants you to know, and that which I have no reason to hide, is that I already have 2 convictions for minor political violence.
And you're happy to admit it?
They were both as rigged as this charge and in magistrate's court. That's why I need a jury.
My lord, now that these matters have, and by the accused's own wish, been admitted, may I...
You may continue, Mr. Logan.
So it is now revealed that on 2 previous occasions you have been found guilty of political violence. On both those occasions you claim the charges were brought falsely against you. Can you now really expect us to believe that for a 3rd time you are the victim of false accusation?
That's for the jury to decide.
Yes. Let us come back again, Mr. Dowd, to strikes which you say you enjoy, to one specific strike, the subject of this charge. Now...
I didn't say I enjoyed strikes.
You most certainly did. I have your words. I've enjoyed a couple. I asked, do you enjoy strikes? And you replied, I've enjoyed a couple.
I said I've enjoyed a couple. There's a difference.
Is there? And was this one of the strikes which you enjoyed?
No.
You've admitted as straightforwardly as you seem to be able to admit anything, telling the 3 pickets to go and lie down in the road.
No, I wouldn't presume to tell...
You've admitted shouting abuse and trying to open the door to get at the driver.
Yes.
Yes, you harassed him through the broken windscreen.
Not harassed.
And now why balk at admitting that you climbed upon the van?
I didn't.
Well, the police evidence says that you did, and we also have the evidence of the van driver himself. It's logical that you would, isn't it? You addressed him through the broken windscreen. The van was surrounded by men. What more likely that you would climb onto the bonnet in order to be near enough for him to hear you?
If I had climbed on the bonnet, he might have thought I was trying to get at him, intimidate him. But I didn't, and I wasn't. I was going to get the camera.
Shouted and threatened him?
No, the windows were shut.
You knew the strike was running down, was nearly over, in fact, when you began to attend it, didn't you?
Yes.
You went along as what we have heard called a political stiffener, didn't you?
Yes.
And you think policemen are all fascist pigs?
Some of them are.
Am I a fascist pig?
I don't know you well enough to tell.
Not as well as you are acquainted with some policemen, hmm?
Correct.
Tell me, Mr. Dowd, are old-age pensioners fascist pigs?
Now, what sort of question's that?
Well, most strikes are for more money, aren't they?
Most, yes.
More money for old-age pensioners?
Unfortunately not, if they could be organised.
So if one organised section of the community is able to strike for more and more money, what happens to the value of money? To the value of the pound notes in the old man's pension? To the value of the pound notes of all those fixed incomes? To the value of the pound notes that the rest of us, not able to strike, have to live on? They're worth less and less, aren't they? The only possible result is inflation, is it not?
Is that a rhetorical question?
Certainly it's not. There's nothing rhetorical about inflation, is there?
Inflation is caused, in fact, is only possible because governments print more pound notes.
Oh, you know that's nonsense, don't you?
It's true. For years now, governments have been printing more and more pound notes with a wave of their magic wands as if money's gone out of fashion.
More and more money has to be issued to pay these men who are blackmailing the rest of us.
More and more money has to be issued because successive governments have spent crazy amounts on such suicidal pipe dreams as the independent nuclear deterrent to uphold this rotten, greedy system of theirs.
Oh, so you're an expert economist too, are you?
I am studying it.
Are you, like so many economists, hopeless at managing your own money?
I manage.
Manage very well?
Look, Cock, my underwear's 5 years old.
It must be getting small for you.
And my mum's ashamed of me.
I don't doubt that.
Mr. Logan.
My lord. You're moving into a new flat. You travel, stay in hotels, fly north for a TV show, south for a prestigious strike, north, south, east and west. All this for a student on a tiny grant. You don't answer.
Well, I'm glad to say student grants are tiny. They're ridiculous.
But are we permitted to ask you, Mr. Dowd, how you do manage? How can you afford this Crown Court trial, for example? Solicitors, barristers, a judge?
I'm deeply shocked to learn I have to pay his lordship.
Court costs which you could have avoided, all of which could cost you many hundreds of pounds. How do you pay for it?
Look, Cock, think about it. I'm a bloody nuisance to the establishment. They've had taxmen, even the fraud squad, onto me. If there's anything shady about my few pennies, don't you think that's why I'd be up in court about, not this trumped-up charge?
Yes, all this aside, Mr. Dowd, how do you pay for it?
You really are trying to make me look glamorous, aren't you? I live in one room. I seldom jet about the world. If I have to get somewhere, I find a way, that's all.
And the costs of this, some might say, unnecessary trial?
And I don't know who's paying you, but my lawyers are working for nothing, God bless them. Anything else? Well, there's a magazine I sometimes write for. That started a defence fund for me. And there's the odd collection at meetings and so on. You see, I don't know how I'll manage, but I will. Of course, I do agree with you. Justice shouldn't only be for rich men.
Mr. Dowd, did you receive the sum of £400 in June last year from the United World Society Incorporated?
You really do your homework, don't you? Yes. Just over 400.
And are you aware that this organization has been branded as a communist front organization by the American government?
Look, Senator Witch-hunting McCarthy, I don't care who gives me money. I'd even take money from you. But nobody has ever told me what to spend it on. Nobody.
You think you have a smart answer for everything, don't you?
No, I don't know all the answers, and I never will. I don't know why people like you settle for certainty. I don't know why 2/3 of the world are starving while we're fat. I don't know.
No, you don't know, but you'll go on shouting at van drivers, shouting on television, shouting in courts, shouting in the press until we all know about you. Communist finance.
And capitalist.
An anarchist.
That only means I take responsibility for myself.
And for everybody else. Or what else were you doing at these strikes anyway?
Lending my support.
Violent if needs be.
No.
Yes, and meanwhile, how much longer do you think the British public are going to allow violent, self-confessed anarchists like you to stir up highly inflationary strikes and hold the rest of us to ransom?
As long as the majority of the British public are underpaid.
Thank you, Donald Dowd.
And underprivileged and being robbed of their rights.
No re-examination, Malone.
You have a simple choice, members of the jury, of whom to believe. Which is why we were forced to spend so long on what cannot have been very interesting for you, on examining the character and beliefs of this extraordinary young man. You will have formed your own opinion of him. Arrogant, insolent, many times rebuked with neither dignity nor respect for the ideals and standards of the rest of us. He has admitted without a trace of shame things which personally you might feel to be quite shocking. An anarchist, a man who enjoys disrupting industry, communist financed, an opportunist who the Crown contends would stop at very little to achieve his own ends. He has pleaded not guilty to the charge of intimidation, but from all you have heard, you may well consider him to be lying. On his own admission, he has in the past been convicted on 2 similar charges, and on this occasion, with the evidence of not 1 but 2 reputable witnesses, I submit you have no choice but to find Donald Dowd guilty as charged.
And as we have seen, both Barrett and Sergeant Kershaw have shown their intense personal dislike of his political views and actions. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this reaction, this fear of disturbing the status quo is not unique to here and now. All through history, there have been men who refused to conform, who doubted and questioned, and thus goaded others into new and better ways of doing things. Oh, they're not easy people to have around. Establishments have always hated and persecuted them, but they are essential. Without them, there'd be no real progress, no social change, and very little justice. Now, Dr. Elwes, his tutor, a scholar and academic of considerable stature, has said Dowd is an outstanding student of whom she has a high opinion. A man who will not tolerate any hypocrisy. A man who, even at the cost of seeming unlikable, insists upon the truth. The whole painful truth. Now, I suggest, ladies and gentlemen, that he has been telling us the truth here. Of course he intimidated no one. What would he stand to gain from intimidation? Would intimidation help his political cause? No, ladies and gentlemen, the case against him has not been proven. I suggest you have no alternative but to find Donald Dowd not guilty.
Now, members of the jury, it is for you to decide the facts, but as to the law, you must be guided by me. Now, the accused is charged with intimidation, which means a threat of violence. You recall what the van driver told you, how his van was attacked and the windscreen broken. You may think, though it is a matter for you, that if all that he told you is true, then he was indeed threatened with violence. You will recall his evidence of the defendant's part in those events. You will recall that the police officer told you that he arrested Dowd half on the van. Now, you may think that if their evidence is true, that the defendant was guilty of intimidation. But was it true? The defendant says that he moved away from the van before all that happened, that he went to get his camera. He suggests that the van driver and the police officer are lying. And he says their motives are that the van driver had an antipathy towards him and everything he thought, and the police officer, who had come across the defendant before, regarded him as a troublesome stiffener who prolongs strikes. Well, it is a matter for you. Who do you believe? It is your duty, difficult though it may be, to view the evidence dispassionately and without prejudice. If the beliefs of the witnesses or the accused appeal to you or antagonize you, try to put them out of your mind. Try to view the evidence objectively. And remember that the prosecution must prove its case beyond reasonable doubt. So if there is reasonable doubt that the defendant was guilty of any intimidation, then you must return your verdict accordingly. Now, members of the jury, will you kindly retire to consider your verdict?
All stand. All stand. Members of the jury, who shall speak as your foreman?
I shall.
Are you agreed upon a verdict?
Yes, we are.
On the charge of intimidation, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Is that the verdict of you all?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
This has been a political trial, and I've been found guilty of my beliefs.
Be silent, Dowd. You may sit while we hear details of your antecedents.
Donald Dowd is found guilty of intimidation and sentenced to 12 months' imprisonment. Next week, our cameras return to watch another leading case in the Crown Court.